I wanted to ask you first, what was it like, taking your players back to Seattle to the Storm facility and getting to shove them around and bring them to your old stomping grounds?
Yeah, honestly for me, pretty cool to see the people, right? The people always make the place, and to be able to hang out with Lisa and Celeste, a couple owners, go to lunch with them, I was young and they're brand new owners, and they kind of took me under their wings when I was there, and for me, just a really, really cool moment.
Yeah. What was the thing that you were hoping that some of your young players were able to take away? Kids like Jordan, who
honestly, the investment that these the Storm owners, the Storm organization has shown in women, right? It's a $65 million facility. The Fever are getting ready to do the same thing. I think Storm moved in April. Vegas has one. New York has something that they share, but nobody else does, right? And obviously the Storm does now. The Fever will do the same. Just like the investment in women, from really the opportunities that young women have these days.
Coach, as far as that 2-game road trip was concerned, what do you feel like was something positive that you could take out of that? It was a road trip, but what do you feel like you really learned as you gear up for USC tomorrow?
Our kids they're frustrated, they're pissed, they're hurt, right? They're still together. I think that's, you walk into our practices, there's no way you see that we've lost 7 games in a Big Ten and kind of the way we have, and you wouldn't think it, right? We got a group that's connected and together, and trying to find a way to push through it the best that they can. You come and practice last night, same thing, right? We had a great practice out in Seattle. Just got to figure out a way to withstand the first quarter. Really, it's usually been the first punch for everybody against us, because once we find a way to settle in, we actually do a good job. And ultimately, trying to figure out ways to make sure we start games better has been our number one priority right now.
With McKenna,
Yeah.
Why is she rebounding so well for you?
She's hungry. She's going after it. She's taking advantage of the opportunity. She understands the game of basketball, puts herself in the right position. She's done a good job of hunting shots on the perimeter and spacing things out for us. But you can tell, and it's starting to, not just her, but other people too. It's really starting to kind of trickle down. Kid just wants to win and is willing to do whatever it takes and trying to figure out ways to help us. And 11 has been really, really good for us.
Offensively, you feel like she's taking advantage of the defenders that are on her, which are usually fours.
Yeah.
Defensively, she's kind of switched off that, but just do you feel like she's kind of stretched the floor for you a little bit there?
No doubt. She shoots it at a high rate, and the more we can find her opportunities, the better. You've got to come and guard her, right? You can't. She's not somebody you can let get her feet set. And the idea is to hope to kind of give some driving lanes open to some other players, or room for KP and Ilana inside. If we can get them to slow down a little bit and not hurry. But one thing that Kenna does so well is she moves off the basketball. She understands what our principles are in terms of when the ball goes this way or the ball goes that way. Kenna always finds herself in the right spots.
Juju Watkins, what do you?
It's great.
What do you say about her?
No, there's not enough words to really describe her and what she can, what she does on a basketball floor. Never gets rattled. Makes tough plays, makes free throws, makes shots, scores at all 3 levels. Great size. Can post you up, elite in a ball screen. So there's not really anything she can't do. At the same time, I feel like we've faced a lot of really good players this year, so it's not something that'll be new for us. We just got to find a way to handle it better than we have in the past.
And they're more than Juju. I mean, they're more.
No doubt. Yeah,
They've got a pretty well-rounded team.
Yeah, they're pretty solid.
Yeah.
It's like people always like wonder who's the best team in the country. Well, tomorrow night I'll be able to tell you we played all 4 of them. So, she's got great pieces around her that allow Juju to be Juju. And her ability to elevate everybody around her is like elite. It's, not everybody has that gift, but Juju has that.
Coach, perimeter defense wise, do you feel like you've been able to, see some growth? I mean, I know the numbers were big, but
yeah, we are good when we can get our half court set, right? Like we're not elites in the half court by any means, but when we allow our offense and turnovers, missed shots, bad shots on the rim, missed layups, when we allow other teams to get out in transition, it's kind of where where we shoot ourselves in the foot, right? Really, it's all self-inflicted. So we've got to do a better job of making better choices and finishing at the rim. Obviously, easier said than done tomorrow night against the length and everything that USC will present us. But I think we've got a group committed to trying to figure it out. And the storm that we're in right now, it obviously doesn't get any easier, but maybe it does.
Sophie, good to go for tomorrow?
She'll be good to go. Yeah.
Okay.
She should be good to go.
Elle Collier, I think she hit 6 3-pointers against Oregon. I mean, for her to have a night like that, I mean, are we gonna start seeing the trigger be pulled more from Ella?
You just gotta shoot it. You can't make it if you don't shoot it. And someone that even sometimes a bad shot for her might be a really good shot for us. And I thought I told her I didn't think she was very locked in or invested in the first half at Washington. Completely different in the second half. So if that Ella Collier can show up the one we had in the second half at Washington, we'll be better for it.
How do you get your team invested in those first 10 minutes?
We've tried changing lineups up a little bit. We've tried different things. We're gonna flip our warm up around. See if that can try to create something. For whatever reason, it just hasn't been great. We've put ourselves in huge holes, and we talk about it. It's not something that we don't talk about. We don't have the firepower to catch up when we do that to ourselves. And Washington, we gave up 10 transition points in the first half. Or in the first quarter alone. I mean, if you take those away, you're not down 27-9. You're down 17-9, and that's a little bit more. See the light at the end of that tunnel, right? When you see 18 already after the first quarter, they didn't score another transition bucket the rest of the game. And now, granted, we still lost the other 3 quarters. It's a lot more competitive than what maybe the final score showed. So it's really trying to control what we can control and not put ourselves in those positions. Like Indiana, they didn't turn the ball over at a high rate, and USC still had 17 transition buckets. So obviously easier said than done, especially like an elite level team like USC. But we've got to be more cognizant of making sure we don't turn the basketball over, making sure we don't take bad shots to put us in those situations.
Kendall, Lana, I mean, they've both been good post defenders when they haven't been, in foul trouble. What do you feel like is going to be the thing for them that's going to, allow them to stay in the game and to just, be in that fight?
Just stay competitive. Thought against Oregon, both of them did a really good job with their bigs. I thought that was probably one of our best defensive executions in terms of what we want to do on the bigs. Washington was a really tough matchup for both of them in terms of the way they spaced us out, and especially those two. The Washington bigs could stretch and put the ball on the floor, and obviously Kiki can step out and shoot it. Marshall does a decent job, but both of those guys really want to play inside, and so really going to need KP and Lana to hold it down for us.
As far as the freshman leadership is concerned, who do you feel like has really kind of stepped up and become a voice for your team? Would you say?
I honestly I wouldn't say we have one alpha dog like that. I think it's more so by committee, and it's a commitment that they've had to each other. I think you'll see, like, you know, when we have games, our huddles during the games are getting better. You know, our bench has been better. The locker room is still connected and good. And, you know, is just trying to keep our head above water as best we can against the schedule we face so far.